Imagine you're standing in the middle of your living room, surrounded by piles of clothes you haven't worn in years, a desk buried under papers you don't recall writing, and a phone buzzing with notifications you can't muster the energy to check. Your mind feels just as crowded, racing with to-do lists, anxieties about work, and a nagging sense that you're missing something vital, something meaningful. You're not alone in this. So many of us feel overwhelmed, weighed down by the noise of modern life, the pressure to keep up, to own more, to be more. The weight of clutter, whether it's physical stuff, a packed schedule, or a restless mind, can make you feel trapped, disconnected from the life you want. But what if there was a way to step out of this chaos? What if you could clear not just your physical space, but your mind, your heart, and your entire way of being? This is where the Japanese concept of ma comes in, a Zen-inspired practice that invites you to embrace the beauty of empty space, both in your surroundings and within yourself. Ma isn't just about decluttering your home. It's about creating room for clarity, peace, and purpose in a world that constantly demands your attention. Today, let's embark on a deep exploration of how this simple yet profound idea can transform your life, guiding you toward a simpler, more intentional, and deeply fulfilling existence. Ma is a concept rooted in Japanese aesthetics and Zen philosophy, and its essence is both poetic and practical. At its heart, Ma refers to the space between things, the pause, the gap, the emptiness that gives meaning to what surrounds it. Picture a traditional Japanese tea room. Its sparse design, with a single scroll on the wall and a tatami mat, feels serene because of the open space that invites contemplation. In music, ma is the silence between notes, creating rhythm and depth. In conversation, it's the pause that allows words to resonate. In your life, ma is the intentional clearing of physical, mental, and emotional clutter to make room for what truly matters. It's about subtraction, not addition, letting go of excess to reveal the essential. In a world that glorifies busyness, consumerism, and perfectionism, Ma is a radical invitation to pause, to simplify, and to find freedom in the spaces you create. It's not about having nothing. It's about having exactly what you need to live with intention and joy. Why does Ma matter to you? Because modern life is relentless. You're bombarded with messages to buy more, achieve more, and fill every moment with activity. Your home might be overflowing with objects you don't need, clothes bought on impulse during a sale, gadgets gathering dust, gifts you keep out of guilt. Your schedule is packed with obligations that drain your energy, leaving little time for rest, creativity, or connection. Your mind is a tangle of worries, regrets, and endless what-ifs, making it hard to focus or find peace. This clutter, physical, mental, and emotional, creates a heaviness that keeps you stuck. You might feel disconnected from your purpose, trapped in a cycle of consumption, or unable to appreciate the beauty in your everyday life. Maybe you're stressed about finances, feeling the pressure to keep up with trends or maintain a certain image. Maybe you're yearning for meaning but don't know where to start. Ma offers a way out. By intentionally creating space, you can rediscover clarity, reconnect with your values, and build a life that feels lighter, more meaningful, and truly yours. Let's begin with your physical space, as it's often the most tangible place to start practicing Ma. Picture your home right now. What do you see? Perhaps a closet stuffed with clothes, half of which don't fit or suit your style anymore. A kitchen counter cluttered with appliances you rarely use. Shelves lined with books you've never read, decorations you don't love, or souvenirs from trips you barely remember. This is where Ma begins. To work its magic. Decluttering isn't just about tidying up. It's about making deliberate choices about what you allow in your life. Every object in your space carries energy. It either lifts you up or weighs you down. When you clear out what doesn't serve you, you create room for what does. You're not just organizing. You're curating a sanctuary that reflects your values and supports your well-being. A home with Ma feels like a deep breath, open, calm, and inviting. How do you start? The idea of tackling a cluttered home can feel daunting, especially if you're already stretched thin by work, family, or stress. The key is to begin small and approach it with mindfulness. turning the process into a meditative act. Choose one area, a single drawer, a shelf, or even a corner of a room. Set aside a quiet hour, perhaps with a cup of tea or soft music to set the mood. As you pick up each item, hold it and ask yourself, does this bring me joy? Does it serve a practical purpose? Does it align with the life I want to live? Be honest with yourself. That sweater you've kept just in case might be taking up space that could be better used for something you love. That stack of old magazines might be a reminder of a habit you're ready to let go of. As you sort, create 3 piles: keep, donate, and discard. The keep pile should only include items that feel essential, things you use regularly, or that spark genuine happiness. The donate pile is for items that could serve someone else, honoring the Japanese principle of modanai, which emphasizes respect for resources and minimizing waste. The discard pile is for things that can't be repurposed. Let them go without guilt, knowing you're making space for what matters. This process is about more than physical objects. It's about cultivating awareness and intention. As you declutter, you'll likely notice emotions bubbling up. Maybe you feel attached to a dress because it reminds you of a time when you felt more confident. Maybe a gift from a friend carries guilt, even though you don't use it. Ma invites you to acknowledge these feelings and then gently release what no longer serves you. It's not about erasing memories. It's about making space for the present. Try this exercise. For each item you're hesitant to let go of, hold it and reflect on why it's hard. Write down your thoughts in a journal, then ask, is keeping this helping me move toward the life I want? Often, you'll find that letting go feels like freedom, not loss. If the emotions feel overwhelming, take a break and breathe. This isn't a race, it's a journey. Over time, as you clear your space, you'll notice a shift. Your home will feel lighter, more open, more like a reflection of who you are now. This is Ma in action, the beauty of empty space that allows what matters to shine. Let's take a moment to consider a story that brings this to life. Meet Alex, a 40-year-old teacher who felt buried under the weight of his possessions. His small apartment was filled with books he'd meant to read, clothes he'd bought to reinvent himself, and keepsakes from a past relationship that left him feeling stuck. His evenings were spent scrolling through social media, comparing his life to others, and his weekends were packed with commitments he didn't enjoy. One day, inspired by a podcast about Japanese philosophy, Alex decided to try Ma. He started with his bookshelf, sorting through each book. He kept only the ones that truly inspired him, donating the rest to a local library. As he cleared the shelves, he felt a sense of possibility. He moved on to his closet, keeping only clothes that made him feel good. With each item he let go of, he felt lighter, like he was shedding layers of expectation. Encouraged, Alex applied Ma to his time. He looked at his calendar and realized he was saying yes to events out of habit, not desire. He politely declined a few invitations, freeing up evenings to read, walk in the park, or simply sit quietly. He started a morning ritual of 5 minutes of silence, focusing on his breath and noting one thing he was grateful for. Over months, his apartment became a haven of simplicity, and his mind felt clearer. He rediscovered his love for teaching, started writing poetry again, and felt a renewed sense of purpose. Alex's story shows how Ma can ripple through your life, transforming not just your space, but your entire way of being. Now let's go deeper and apply Ma to your inner world, because physical clutter is often a mirror of mental and emotional clutter. When your space is chaotic, it's hard to think clearly. When your mind is crowded, it's hard to find peace. Think about your mental landscape. Are you holding on to thoughts that weigh you down, worries about the future, regrets about the past, or a constant need to please others? Are you filling your time with distractions, endless scrolling, binge-watching shows, or overcommitting to tasks that don't align with your priorities? Just as you decluttered your home, you can declutter your mind by creating space for clarity and intention. Ma in your mind is about pausing, reflecting, and letting go of what doesn't serve you. One powerful way to practice mental Ma is through mindfulness. This doesn't mean you need to become a meditation expert, though even 5 minutes a day can make a difference. Start with a simple ritual. Each morning, take a moment to pause. Sit quietly with a cup of tea or coffee and focus on your breath. Notice the air moving in and out, the warmth of the mug in your hands, the sounds around you. When thoughts arise about your to-do list, your worries, your plans, acknowledge them without judgment and let them pass. This pause is Ma, a moment of emptiness that allows you to reset. Over time, this practice helps you become more aware of your thoughts and habits. You might notice you're spending hours on your phone, comparing yourself to others. You might realize you're ruminating on a mistake from years ago. With this awareness, you can make intentional choices to let go of what's cluttering your mind. Try this mindfulness exercise to deepen your practice of Ma. Find a quiet spot and set a timer for 5 minutes. Close your eyes and take slow, deep breaths. As thoughts come up, imagine them as clouds drifting across the sky. Don't try to push them away, simply let them float by. If you get distracted, gently bring your focus back to your breath. After the timer goes off, write down one thought or worry that feels heavy. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Can I let it go, even for now? If the answer is yes, visualize placing that thought in a box and setting it aside. This small act of mental decluttering creates space for clarity and calm. You can return to this exercise whenever your mind feels crowded, using it as a tool to cultivate Ma within. Another way to create mental Ma is to simplify your commitments. Look at your calendar. Is it packed with tasks and events that leave you exhausted? Ask yourself, what can I release? Maybe it's a social obligation that doesn't bring you joy, a volunteer role you took on out of guilt, or a project that's draining your energy. Saying no is an act of courage. It's choosing to protect your time and energy for what truly matters. Try this. Write down everything you feel obligated to do this week. For each item, ask, does this align with my values? Does it bring me closer to the life I want? If the answer is no, consider letting it go or delegating it. If saying no feels hard, practice a gentle script. Thank you for thinking of me, but I need to focus on other priorities right now. This isn't selfish, it's essential. By creating space in your schedule, you're giving yourself permission to rest, to reflect, to pursue what lights you up. Let's explore another story to illustrate this. Meet Priya, a 28-year-old marketing assistant who felt overwhelmed by her fast-paced life. Her apartment was cluttered with clothes she bought to keep up with trends, kitchen gadgets she'd seen on social media, and stacks of work documents spilling onto her dining table. Her days were a whirlwind of meetings, social events, and late-night emails, leaving her exhausted and unfulfilled. One evening, feeling burnt out, Priya stumbled across an article about Ma. Intrigued, she decided to try it. She started with her kitchen, sorting through gadgets and keeping only the ones she used regularly. She donated a blender she'd never opened and recycled old takeout containers, feeling a sense of relief with each item she released. Her kitchen became a space where she could enjoy cooking again, rather than feeling stressed by clutter. Inspired, Priya applied Ma to her schedule. She realized she was attending networking events out of fear of missing out, not because they aligned with her goals. She started saying no to events that didn't excite her, freeing up evenings to practice yoga or read. She also tackled her digital clutter, unsubscribing from promotional emails and muting social media accounts that made her feel inadequate. To clear her mind, she began a nightly ritual of journaling, writing down 3 things she was grateful for and 1 worry she could release. Over time, Priya's life felt lighter. She had more energy for her passions, like photography, and felt more connected to herself and her friends. Her story shows how Ma can create a ripple effect, transforming your space, time, and inner world. Ma aligns beautifully with other Japanese philosophies that deepen its impact. It echoes Ikigai, your reason for being. When you clear space in your life, you create room to discover what truly matters, whether it's nurturing relationships, pursuing a creative passion, or simply savoring quiet moments. Ma also resonates with wabi-sabi, the appreciation of imperfection. As you let go of the need for a perfect home or a flawless life, you find beauty and simplicity in the things that are real and human. A chipped mug, a sparse shelf, a quiet evening. These become sources of joy, not flaws. And Ma connects to Kaizen, the practice of small, continuous improvements. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Each small step, clearing a drawer, pausing for a breath, saying no to one unnecessary task, builds toward a life of greater clarity and joy. Let's reflect on the tangible and intangible benefits of Ma. Physically, a decluttered space reduces stress and boosts focus. Studies show that visual clutter can increase cortisol levels, making it harder to relax or concentrate. A home with Ma feels calming, like a blank canvas for your life. Mentally, creating space in your mind fosters clarity and resilience. When you let go of ruminating thoughts or distractions, you can think more creatively and make decisions with confidence. Emotionally, Ma opens your heart to gratitude and connection. By releasing what doesn't serve you, you make room for joy, love, and meaningful relationships. Financially, Ma encourages conscious consumption, helping you save money by focusing on quality over quantity. Instead of buying trendy items you don't need, you invest in things that last, like a well-made coat or a meaningful experience. Environmentally, Ma aligns with sustainability, reducing waste and honoring resources, as seen in the Matanai principle. By consuming less and repurposing more, you contribute to a healthier planet. What makes Ma so powerful is its contrast to the habits that keep us stuck. Consumerism tells us to buy more to feel complete, but Ma teaches that less can be more. Busyness equates productivity with worth, but Ma reminds us that rest is productive. Perfectionism demands flawlessness, but Ma celebrates the beauty of empty, imperfect spaces. Consider the difference. A life driven by consumerism might leave you with a closet full of clothes, but a heart full of discontent. A life guided by Ma might have fewer possessions but more joy, fewer commitments but deeper connections. This shift isn't about deprivation, it's about abundance, the abundance of time, energy, and meaning that comes from living intentionally. But let's be honest, creating Ma isn't always easy. You might face resistance, like the guilt of letting go of gifts or the fear of missing out if you say no to commitments. You might worry that simplifying will leave you with less, when in truth, it gives you more. More time, more energy, more freedom. If you hit a roadblock, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what's holding me back? What am I afraid of losing? Often the answer is a belief or habit that's no longer true for you. Maybe you're keeping that old jacket because it reminds. You have a past version of yourself, but that version doesn't define you anymore. Maybe you're saying yes to events because you fear disappointing others, but your well-being matters too. Be gentle with yourself. Change takes time, and every small step counts. If decluttering feels overwhelming, try this strategy. Set a timer for 15 minutes and focus on one small area. If your mind feels too crowded, try a brain dump. Write down every thought swirling in your head, then sort through what's worth keeping. For emotional clutter, like lingering resentment or self-doubt, try a forgiveness exercise. Write a letter to yourself or someone else, expressing what you need to release, then set it aside or burn it safely as a symbolic act of letting go. These small acts of Ma build momentum, helping you create space in your life one step at a time. To make this practical, let's try an extended Ma challenge over 2 weeks, building on the week-long challenge from before. Week 1, Day 1. Choose one small area of your home, a drawer, a shelf, a corner, and declutter it mindfully. Ask, does this item serve me? Does it bring joy? Day 2. Take a 5-minute pause in the morning. Focus on your breath and notice one thing you're grateful for. Day 3. Review your schedule. Find one commitment you can say no to or reschedule, freeing up time for something meaningful. Day 4. Reflect on your digital space. Unsubscribe from one email list or mute one social media account that feels draining. Day 5. Practice Matanai by finding one item to donate or repurpose, reducing waste. Day 6. Write down one worry that's cluttering your mind. Then ask, can I let this go? Day 7. Reflect on your week. How does your space feel? How does your mind feel? What's one small Ma habit you want to continue? Week 2, Day 1. Expand your decluttering to another area, like your desk or wardrobe. Notice how the process feels easier with practice. Day 2. Extend your morning pause to 7 minutes, adding a moment to visualize your ideal day. Day 3. Identify one habit that's cluttering your time, like excessive screen time, and set a boundary, such as no phone after 8 p.m. Day 4. Practice MA in your relationships by having one meaningful conversation with a loved one, free of distractions. Day 5. Find another item to donate or repurpose, perhaps something you've been holding on to out of guilt. Day 6. Write down a limiting belief like, "I'm not good enough," and challenge it with evidence of your strengths. Day 7. Reflect on the 2 weeks. How has your life changed? What spaces, physical, mental, or emotional, feel more open? This challenge isn't about perfection, it's about progress, about creating MA in small, meaningful ways. As you embrace MA, you'll notice something beautiful. The spaces you create become invitations for abundance. An empty shelf might hold a single vase of flowers, reminding you to appreciate beauty. An uncluttered schedule might give you an evening to reconnect with a loved one or pursue a passion. A quieter mind might spark a creative idea or a moment of gratitude. This is the paradox of MA. By letting go, you gain so much more. You gain clarity to see what matters. You gain freedom to live on your terms. You gain peace to savor the present moment. And in that space, you find yourself, your true self, unburdened by excess, alive with purpose and possibility. Let's consider one more story to inspire you. Meet James, a 50-year-old accountant who felt trapped in a cycle of stress. His home was cluttered with decades of possessions, old furniture, stacks of papers, and hobby supplies he no longer used. His workdays were long, and his evenings were spent worrying about finances and retirement. Feeling stuck, James attended a workshop on Japanese philosophy and learned about MA. He began by clearing his home office, sorting through papers and keeping only what was necessary. He sold old furniture and used the money to buy a comfortable chair he loved. His office became a space where he could focus and feel calm. James then applied MA to his work life. He realized he was taking on extra tasks to prove his worth, leaving him drained. He started setting boundaries, delegating tasks, and leaving work on time. He also began a gratitude practice, writing down 3 things each day that brought him joy, like a walk in the park or a call with his daughter. Over time, James felt lighter. He reconnected with his love for gardening, started volunteering at a community center, and found a sense of purpose he hadn't felt in years. James's story reminds us that MA isn't about having less. It's about having more of what matters. So, where will you start? Maybe it's with that cluttered corner of your room, or that one obligation you've been dreading. Maybe it's with a single breath, a moment of stillness in your busy day. Whatever you choose, know that MA is not about achieving a perfect minimalist life. It's about creating space for what makes you feel alive. It's about trusting that less can be more, that simplicity is strength, that emptiness is full of potential. You don't need to do it all at once. Take one step, then another. Let each act of clearing be an act of love, for yourself, for your space, for the life you're building. The space you create today is the foundation for a life of clarity, purpose, and joy tomorrow. So pause, breathe, and begin. The beauty of MA is waiting for you, ready to transform your world with